will say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. We thank you all once again for the opportunity to co-create this interaction with you in this way. For us, it is always a gift of sharing that also creates a bridge and a link between our respective realities and forms, through that link, a new third reality in which we can, every day, more and more, in every way, become closer and closer and closer. We wish to extend our thanks to you for this gift of sharing, to all that are participating in this. Whether you are physically present within the room does not matter, for the room shall expand to include you all, even if it stretches to include and encompass the entirety of your planet. Allow yourselves the opportunity to know that vibrationally you are here with us in all the ways that matter. We would thus then like to begin this issue of a matter of faith and reminding you that we are exploring together the idea of going beyond faith into knowingness, which is a far more powerful state, without in any way, shape, or form diminishing how faith may have served you in the past. We simply wish to point out and illuminate and illustrate the idea that when you gain clear understanding of the nature of existence, the structure of existence, how it exists, how it works, then that knowingness will supersede faith or the need for faith, wherein the concept of faith still implies, by definition, that you are not quite certain about how your reality shall manifest, about where you may be going, whereas knowingness will allow you to experience a degree of certainty, a degree of confidence that faith does not contain. Faith, as we have said, still being based on the idea of belief, so that your belief system can provide you with an opportunity to see more clearly to the point where your beliefs are no longer necessary. You can leave them behind and operate simply, in many circumstances in life, on pure knowingness, pure understanding. Now, we understand also that there are many different definitions of how you may use some of these terms, so we wish to clarify, before we begin going into deeper detail, what we actually mean by some of these terms. When we talk about the idea of knowing, we do not necessarily mean that you will know more about things, about stuff, as you say. Just because you go into knowingness doesn't mean you will suddenly know everything there is to know about a particular thing. The knowingness we are talking about is not just the idea of data or information. Although it is not impossible that from a state of knowingness you can access information and know about things. That does not automatically come without you directing your intention to attract that information to you. The knowingness we are talking about is a familiarity, an intimate familiarity with the nature of existence that allows you to be at peace within yourself about the existence of your life, about your experience of life, that allows you to settle in to a certainty that you are an aspect of all that is, that you are functioning as you need to, and that by applying this knowing point of view to everything that occurs, that manifests in your physical life experience, it will bring you a degree of peace and calm and certainty that you may not have experienced before, or may have only intermittently experienced from time to time in your lives. There are many ways we will go about approaching, instilling this idea of knowingness within you. It is really not as complicated as you may think. It is really quite simple, the concept. But it must begin with a foundational acceptance of self, a foundational acceptance of your existence. Many of you, because of your experience of self-imposed limitation, and because of the nature of the limitation that has existed in your physical experience on earth, have actually created a lack of acceptance of your fundamental existence. Although we find, from our point of view, this to be an astonishing creation that we ourselves may not have believed would be possible had we not encountered you, nevertheless, we accept that all that is will experience itself in all the ways that it can, and such profound self-imposed limitation is obviously one of the things all that is needs to be all that it can be. But in that, there is the experience of emerging from that forgetfulness, of emerging from that experience of disconnection, of emerging from that lack of awareness of your fundamental existence. And as you gain more and more understanding of the nature of your own being, you will then be able to relax into that certainty and apply that confidence in every area of your life. So, we will begin by asking you to relax, to close your eyes, to take a deep breath. Go into a relaxed state. Just relax, just enjoy, just be at peace. Don't have to think about what's about to be said. Just muse on it, play with it, let it in. No deep thought for the moment is required. Take another deep breath. And a third deep breath. Become calm, at ease, at peace. No worries, no struggles, no stress, no strife, no obstacles, no problems. These are things that are outside of the reality you are now in. These are the things that do not relate, that do not belong, that are not part of the definition of the reality vibration you are creating now, of the state of being you are manifesting now. This is a primary state, the state of your existence itself. Now, in this state, all you need to focus on is this. All you need to be aware of is this. You exist. That's it. You exist. Just focus on the fact, the absolute fact that you exist. That's all. Nothing more complicated than that. Just feel your existence and appreciate your existence. Feel how good it is to exist, to be alive, to be aware of anything at all. How astonishing it is that you are aware of yourself, that you have an existence, that you are a part of existence itself, that you are an aspect, a reflection of all that is. Just feel your existence. Sit with it. That's all. Not what your existence is about, not why you exist. Just that you do is all that is being asked of you now. Breathe it in. Nothing complicated. Do not think overmuch. Just be aware. I exist. I exist. I exist. I exist. I am existence. I am what is. I am that I am. I need no reason, for I am already here. I need no excuse, for I am already here. I need no rationale, for I am already here. Existence is my natural state. I cannot not exist. Existence only has one quality: to exist, to be. That which is not is something else, and that is its own quality, to not be. But I am that that is. Isness is my being. Isness is my birthright. Isness is my nature. I am. And because I am now, thus then within any creation, any manifestation of the experience called time, be it labeled past or future, I always am. I am in the past, I am in the future, I am in the present, and all is now. I am now, thus I am in all. All time, all space, because all time, all space is only within me. I am here because there is only here, and I fill it. I am now because there is only now, and I fill it. Because I am now, and I am here. And that is all there is. Isness is my fundamental nature. I am. That is a fact. You know that is a fact. This is the certainty of knowing. All you have to do, anytime you may believe, anytime you may feel that you do not know, all you have to do is stop and remember. What I do know is that I am. This is unquestionable. For if it were not so, there would be no me to realize it. There would be no me to ask the question. There would be no me to be in doubt. There would be no me to be confused. I exist. That is the degree of certainty knowingness provides. That is the state of being knowingness is. It is as simple and profound as the statement, I am. There is no questioning it. There is no doubt about it, even though you may choose to doubt it. You can experience the idea of doubt, but the only way you can do that is by existing. Therefore, the existence is not in question, ever. Or there would be no question, ever. allow yourself to feel the absolute, unquestionable certainty that you exist. Say, I am. I am. There is absolute knowing in this statement. It is to this degree that all knowing must be experienced for it to have the same effect in manifesting in your life. So all the things you say you know, all the things you think you know, all the things you would like to know are so, must have the same quality, the same state of being of knowingness as what you are experiencing right now, with the understanding, the simple awareness and recognition that you exist. It all comes down to that. I am. That degree of unquestionability is what is required to be in the state of knowingness. But it's easy to create that by simply always going to the first principle. I exist. I am. There is no question. I am. In that moment, and in this moment, you are in a state of knowing. Feel that certainty. Feel how that degree of absolute certainty feels, because that is what you want to bring to bear to all situations in your life. Whether there is empirical knowledge or understanding about what's going on in your life in terms of the details is not the issue. It is the degree of knowingness that your life is unfolding to your benefit as an expression of your true nature is all that is required for absolute knowingness, and for the quality of knowingness to begin to infuse itself into every single act and every single moment and every single thought and feeling and belief in your consciousness. You want to bring knowingness to bear in all aspects of your life. And even when, and even if, you experience the idea of fear, and you experience the idea of doubt, go back at that moment, to this moment, to a state of absolute knowingness. I am. There is no question in that state. There is no doubt in that state. There is only absolute being in that state, in this state, here, now. Rekindle that state. Realign that state within you. I am. 2 words are all that is required to bring you to that state. Because when you realize that you exist, unquestionably, that is what you want to draw from and apply to every other situation and circumstance in your life. Take a deep breath. And feel I am. Take a deep breath. And feel I am. It's obvious. Take a deep breath. And say, I am. Relax. Open your eyes when you feel inclined to do so. Continue breathing in a relaxed way. Become more awake, more aware, but stay relaxed. and say again from this state, I am. I am.
Now, let's look a little bit at the electron. The electron is representative of the idea of the negative energy, and of course, when we talk about it as an energetic state, we're simply talking about the idea of that which is disconnective, dissociative, segregative, so to speak, whereas when we talk about the positive energy, we're talking about things that are integrative, expansive, connective, so to speak, as a mechanism. But also what's associated with the negative energy that we have discussed many times with many of you are the idea of negative beliefs. As we have said, belief systems, both positive and negative, must do something to perpetuate themselves because they're not really real. Physical reality is not really real. In a sense, it's a projection, it's a dream, it's an illusion. So the belief systems are designed to perpetuate themselves in such a manner as to make it seem as if the reality that they depict, the definition of reality that they depict, is actually real, so that you can have an actual solid physical experience. But when it comes to the idea of positive beliefs, the positive beliefs are reflecting to you the true nature of your being, the true, powerful, self-empowered, creative, loving nature of your spirit, of your being, of your essence, of your existence. The negative belief systems, in a sense, have to work much harder than the positive beliefs to get you to buy into a scenario that is fundamentally not true about you. Because you are basically creative, positive beings, essentially. So in order to get you to have an experience that is negative, it has to tell you things that are fundamentally lies about yourself, and it has to reinforce those lies with every trick in the book that it can muster, every tool in its kit. Otherwise, you would see right through the smoke and mirrors and know that it is just an illusion, and that what the negative beliefs are telling you about yourself has to be, by definition, false. So let's look now at the correlation, at the analogy in the electron. The idea of the atomic structure, as you understand it in your society now, is not so much the exact classical representation of a tiny little particle orbiting around the nucleus in a very clean sort of way, like a planet around a sun. No. That's kind of an outdated, old-fashioned way of representing it. It's good as a general illustration. But you now know, your physicists now know, that the electrons sort of exist more in what they term a probability cloud. That is, you're never really sure exactly where it is. It's whipping around so fast. It's somewhere in this hazy cloud that surrounds the nucleus. Somewhere in there are a bunch of electrons, but where they are, we don't know until we take a measurement and freeze where it is. But then you don't really understand exactly what its path has been, because you're freezing it into a static state. But when it's moving, you don't really know where it is at any given moment. So in a sense, it is similar to the idea of negative beliefs in that it creates this sort of ambiguous, fuzzy cloud that you can't really get a grip on. And it fools you into thinking that there are certain things going on that are really only probabilities, really only potentials, and not really very solid at all, until you yourself decide that you're going to take a particular idea, particular definition, which is the same thing as an observation or a measurement, scientifically speaking, and in taking that perspective and taking that measurement, then you get what you designed the perspective for. You get what you designed the measurement or the experiment for. That's the result you get. So the electron does exemplify and does represent the way in which negative beliefs work, in that they're kind of fuzzy, you're not really sure what's going on, they tend to hide in your unconscious mind, so you can't make it easy to find them, so you won't let them go, because again, this is their way of perpetuating themselves, telling you lies and telling you more lies, and using tools like fear to prevent you from finding them, so that they can continue to get you to believe that what they're telling you about you is true when it's not. So that is a general correlation, whereas the idea of the proton, being the positively charged thing, being in a sense more easily observed because it is the very nature of the element you're looking at itself, it is the very identifying energy of the elements themselves, then it's easy for you to see that directly. It doesn't have to hide, it doesn't have to confuse you, it doesn't have to fool you one way or the other. It is just telling you what you are. It is telling you what is. It is showing you your nature. So when you're looking at an element, let us say, for example, gold, or let us say mercury, you are really looking at the protons. That's what you're looking at, because it is the protons that determine what the element is. So they're easy to see. But the electrons, those sneaky little electrons, very tiny, buzzing around in their little B cluster cloud of probabilities. I'm over here. No, I'm not. I'm over here. No, I'm not. I'm over here. No, I'm not. Fooled you again. Shows you a direct correlation between the idea of the way the energy states themselves exist and the way that they actually crystallize down through your consciousness into the expression you call physical materiality. The trinary idea extends itself further because, as your scientists have discovered, or as they have created for themselves to perceive, even the idea of some of the so-called subatomic particles like the proton have other particles within them that you have called quarks. And those quarks generally also come in threes, which again shows you the Trinity aspect of the existence of that energy. Again, the duality and the neutral place in between. This does not have to be completely absorbed at this time in this way. You don't necessarily have to have any kind of a physics degree to absorb and understand this. It is simply something for your consciousness to look at with curiosity, let it sink in, and let the idea of the energy states and the structures that they appear to create that you call physical reality have a lot to do with each other, are really just different expressions of the same thing. They're just different expressions of the state of being that is existence itself, expressing itself on all levels as that Trinity. The only level on which such trinities don't exist or dualities exist is what we would call the one. That is the homogeneous one state where there is no differentiation whatsoever, but because there is no differentiation, there is also no experience, no awareness. It takes the all that is to be aware of itself. It's the first reflection to itself that there is the appearance of an other that creates that idea that starts splitting into the, well, there is this, and there is that, and there is this relationship in the middle. So really, the neutron and the neutral state that give rise to the experience of the positive and negative sides, the proton, the electron, the neutron itself and the neutral state is actually more precisely the reality that you call reality. Whereas the projections that come from it are the reflective illusions based on the information you have put into it, such as a positive meaning or a negative meaning, a positive definition or a negative definition. But the neutron and the neutral state is actually what you are as an existence, as a reality, and everything is contained within it, and everything can be expressed from it. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. All right. So, just let that sink in. It's a little bit of physics fun. At this time, in return for the gift that you have given us in allowing us to experience each and every one of you, I ask now, how may we be of service to you? You may begin, if you wish, with your questions and dialogue.